Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros.
Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC, and you're listening to episode 73 of your brand new favorite sports podcast. You guessed it, the Sports Bros Podcast, episode 73. It seems like a while back, we were just doing episode 1, but that was back in March of 2019, and we have come a long way. And of course, you know, I can't do this by myself. I could, but it wouldn't be as entertaining. And I got two of the best co-hosts in the world, the Almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I ask that every episode that I'm on, and leaves me scratching my head every single time. Breaking news, by the way. KFC, the chicken spot, has decided to suspend their logo, their slogan, "It's finger licking good," because it doesn't sound well during the coronavirus pandemic.
I didn't know that.
So what? So I can't even lick my own fingers anymore after I eat?
These my fingers.
These my whatever. Anyway, go ahead and introduce the other guy. What's going on in the world today? That's all I got to say.
Oh, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Poison Ivy survivor, the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, the Money Man, Scottie D.
I just want to start by saying something controversial. Did you hear that? I said something controversial. Now I apologize, and let's move on and talk some sports. Who would have thought we would still be, or we would actually be living in a world where the hottest team in baseball is the Pittsburgh Pirates, winner of 3 straight. Woo! Raise the Jolly Roger all weekend here, boys. It was an amazing weekend, but a lot more to get to than just the Pirates. I know they're the buzz of the sports world right now, but let's move on and talk about some what we got to talk about, Eddy Kool. Let's talk some sports, buddy. I'm ready to rock and roll here.
All right, man. We're going to talk some sports, and for Scottie D's sake, no more turd burgers this weekend. He had a turd burger-free weekend. We going to hop right into the NBA playoffs, fellas. There's been a lot of action going on. We actually had a chance to watch the last closing minutes of the playoff games, and we got to see the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Rockets. Yes, that series has been tied at 2 apiece. And earlier today, this was Monday, which means we record Monday. And you know, if you don't know it by now, then shame on you. You should be paying attention. The Bucks lead the Magic 3-1. That's everything but done almost. Meanwhile, the Celtics, they bust out the broom against the Sixers. Brett Brown gets fired in the process as well, too. Sorry, Brett. Not sorry. The Toronto Raptors, they sweep the Nets 4-0. The Heat lead the Pacers 3-0. And as I mentioned earlier, the Bucks get a 3-1 lead on the Magic. And in the West, we got the Lakers and the Blazers 2-1. They play tonight, Monday night. As I mentioned earlier, the Rockets lead the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Rockets are tied at 2 apiece. The Jazz, that's right, the Utah Jazz lead the Denver Nuggets 3-1. And the closing minutes of that game, it was pretty good as well, too. And then we got the Clippers and the Mavericks. Yes, the Clippers and the Mavericks tied at 2 apiece. Luka Doncic is a bad boy. Ain't he, B Live?
Trying to tell you, man. I want that guy on my team. Just saying.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Scottie D, what you think about these here playoffs so far, man? The NBA playoffs starting to get good. Why is it always like the last few minutes of the game, they always wind up being like the best part of the game?
Well, as you mentioned, fresh on our minds here is the Oklahoma City Thunder Rockets series. This went to 2-2. I guess that shouldn't be super surprising because, A, Westbrook is out. He hasn't been playing, and we know that Harden fades in the playoffs. So that one's still a long way to go. I still think I'd like the Rockets to come out of that. I know there was a huge shootout with Luka Doncic on hitting a big game winner on Sunday afternoon. The one that obviously, is to my personal interest is the Lakers Blazers. As we're recording, it's 2-1 Lakers. And by the time you listen to this podcast, hopefully it'll be 3-1. It could be tied up. It appears to me, guys, and you tell me if you agree, it looks to me like the Blazers might be starting to run out of gas a little bit. We watched the Blazers play with the sense of absolute urgency from the time they got into the bubble. Damian Lillard had just looked like the greatest basketball player of all time for a while there, including game one when they knocked the Lakers off to open the series. To me, it looks they look like a team that has been, running full steam, and they're starting to wear down a little bit. Now, I know a little bit of that has to do with the Lakers' game plan. The Lakers shot, it was atrocious what they did. It was ridiculous. I was angry and mad. They shot 3 of 35 or something stupid like that from 3-point range. And I'm yelling, you got to change the game plan. You can't keep shooting threes. You have Anthony Davis. And then in game 2, they absolutely did that. They just started going to the hoop. Game 3, LeBron started to assert himself a little bit more, going to the hoop, and the Lakers seemed to be playing to their strength, which is to go to the rack, get rebounds, and play defense. So if they can do that, they should take care of the Blazers. That Blazers team in the first game, they looked unbeatable though. They were making all kind of shots from not just Dame time. It was the whole team. They were all making shots, and to me, it looks like they're starting to run out of gas. Do you guys see a little of that? You think?
I think they probably Portland has hit that wall, and then with Damian Lillard injuring his hand. Was it a shooting hand or is it non-shooting hand?
It's his non-shooting hand.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, basketball, you got to use your hands. And any kind of hand injury to any hand, be it your shooting hand or not, is crucial. So it's just Portland may have hit the wall, man, but never say never. What do you think, B-Live?
Well, one of the things about Portland is that they've always shown a weakness on the defensive side. So it doesn't take much to beat Portland. Portland is hard to beat when they're hot. But again, though, what we've been talking about, you live by the 3, die by the 3. Portland's backcourt is better than Los Angeles' backcourt, but when it comes to high percentage shots, it doesn't get much better than to have an Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I'm just saying.
And they're all playing every other day too. So Portland was in a must-win situation. They didn't have the load management luxury or anything like that, or a bonus day off here and there. Whereas the Lakers, they didn't look great to start. You have to, we talked about that last week, how they looked like they were kind of limping into the playoffs. Whereas now they seem to, maybe by resting their players a little bit and not getting as many urgent minutes, they have the legs. Whereas Portland's starting to run out of legs maybe on all those 3 balls they shoot.
So yeah, it's just it's attrition. At the end of the day, like as much as we all hate it. For all of our listeners, we all hate load management. We hate it. We want to see them pour their hearts out and leave everything on the court every game. It's not a thing to us old heads, but it's a new age. We're in the Kawhi Leonard age of basketball. I mean, that's literally what Toronto did and what the Clippers are doing now with Kawhi Leonard. They load management. He had those devastating injuries with San Antonio. They're like, hold on, this guy's way too good for us to play him 82 games a year. He plays 60. We still make it to the playoffs, and we still have him rested up, ready to go. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it, and that's where it is right now. LeBron James is still the baddest man on the planet, and Anthony Davis, top 5 player. The Lakers are starting to get in the flow of things, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Yep, the Lakers are going to be tough to beat, man. They're going to be tough to beat. Let's see. So we got the Celtics and the Raptors in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Fellas, I think I'm looking at these Raptors. I'm like, well, you can't count them out quite yet because Philly, the bottom just fell out in Philadelphia.
Well, a lot of that had to do with Boston, though. I mean, they really made a statement by not only just winning but sweeping.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really good, and Kemba Walker's a big reason why. I mean, he stepped his game up. Tatum's, he seems to be a guy that lives for the postseason. Not so much in Philly, man. And I don't know what to make of that Philly team. That's a team that looked like they were building for a long-term success, and now they seem like they're a mess, don't they?
Yeah, man. They really seem like they're a mess. And like I said, like mere hours before we went on, the Philadelphia organization said, "You know what, Brett Brown? We're gonna relieve you of your coaching duties, sir. You are free to go." He's been relieved, let go, aka fired. They let him go. Philly's an interesting situation, man. Like they have that talent. I mean, they got veteran leadership with Al Horford. You got Joel Embiid. When he got his stuff together, he's one of the best in the league. And then we got Ben Simmons for some reason can't really seem to find his shot. But when it's on, it's on, and when it's off, it is OFF like a light switch.
Let me ask you. Yeah, let me ask you
the light switch.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Let me ask a quick question. What happened to Ben Simmons?
That's a good question.
Because he didn't play Game 4. Did he play at all in the bubble or something like that?
No, he got hurt. He's hurt.
Okay, because that's I mean, because I'm looking at just a little bit of the stats of Game 4 and everything. And I'm like, we're missing something here. There's a player in the backcourt and I can't put my name on it real quick. I'm like, wait a minute, that could be a big reason. They only lost by 4. You think if they had Ben Simmons, it'd be a different series.
Mm.
So, I mean, unfortunately, because of this unforeseen events, Brett Brown, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, he's taking a fall for some for stuff that's not 100% his fault. This is a team that had like a top 4 or 5 pick every year for like 4 years, and you figure Embiid is a guy that's destined to be a star. He always has trouble with injuries. And you got Ben Simmons as a guy who can't shoot. The dude just can't shoot. They also drafted Nerlens Noel, who's not on the team anymore. And in 2017, number 1 overall, Markelle Fultz, also not on the team anymore. So it feels like organizationally, this team is letting the Philadelphia fan base down because they could have done better. I mean, I know hindsight's 2020. You draft Markelle Fultz, number 1 overall. I remember when they picked him, I had never seen him play. I had never watched Washington play. He came out as a freshman. Jason Tatum's the guy they could have had, or Donovan Mitchell was a guy they could have had. Like I said, hindsight's 2020, but you didn't hit on that pick, and your number 1 overall pick, and he's not even there anymore. So it just seemed like a situation that was going to grow into something really good, and it feels like it has just withered on the vine very quickly to me. I mean, they didn't even win a game in the postseason. They got swept. I mean, it's a mess.
Yep, because before Rona Mania ran wild, they had the best record at home. But when it come to playing on the road, atrocious. It was horrible. It was bad, man. It's a damn shame, man. All that good talent, and then it's just the drizzling. What's it. All right, so fellas, I think we got so I'm picking the Bucks. They're gonna go ahead and take care of the Magic. Let's see, the Heat. They're gonna go ahead and take care of the Pacers, and so that's gonna pit the Heat and the Bucks. It's gonna be a nice, interesting series as well, too. Fellas, we're starting to wither down to the last handful of teams after this here Bubble Mania, fellas. What you think?
The bubble is shrinking, but it's starting to get very, very interesting at this point.
I am looking forward to Game 5 of the Nuggets Jazz.
Yeah,
that's gonna be like because Game 4, Jamal Murray with 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell had 51. I said, anything you can do, I can do better. Those two have been playing lights out in this bubble. So, I mean, and it's just interesting to see that the Clippers, and look, I'm going to say this real quick. Has anybody, the missing persons file for playoff Paul George.
PG-13.
Has anybody seen him?
Playoff P you're talking about?
Yeah. Has anybody seen him?
Have you seen him? Doom doom. Tell me, have you seen him? Where he at? I don't playoff P. Playoff. He did what?
Yeah, because 9 points in a game. That's not how you do it. That's we need more than 9 points.
No, he have to step up, or they have no chance to win.
Yeah, because if Luka catches fire like he's been on fire now, the Clippers are in trouble.
Yeah, they may win this series, but if their goal is to win the whole thing. If Paul George doesn't get better, they're not winning. They're not winning the whole thing for sure.
I think the Mavericks pushing to 7, fellas. What do you think?
It could very well. The way Luka is playing, he's playing inspired. And I just think their team chemistry is just a little bit better than the Clippers right now. So playing with a chip on your shoulder. People think, oh, you don't have a chance. Just look. Have you seen the Clippers? Kawhi Leonard, freaking Lou Will,
Chicken Wing.
I'm just saying. A lot of people wrote the Mavericks off, didn't give them much of a chance. It's tied up. It's a 3-game series right now. So
yeah.
It's interesting. I like it. Playoff basketball. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Yes, sir.
It's actually very interesting to watch how this is going to shake out without a real home court advantage. That's kind of everybody's playing on the same floor. It's even keel all the way through. So that's definitely going to be interesting to see because Dallas is a legit threat.
Yeah, they're a legit threat. All right, folks, so we're going to move around from the NBA playoffs to the NHL playoffs. And guess what? Their bubble is shrinking as well, too. All right, in the East, we got a second-round matchup with the Flyers and the Islanders. They'll be kicking off tonight. Then we got the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Boston Bruins. The Bruins are up 1-0 in that series. Over on the West Side, we got the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. Vegas, they jump out to a commanding 1-0 lead. And the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche, the Stars lead the Avalanche 1-0. Yeah, I'm a little sad about, the Hurricanes getting eliminated, but I'm going to still try to watch some hockey. Scottie D, we know you don't give a damn because hockey season was over a while back.
Yeah, I like Sidney Crosby.
Golly.
I like Sebastian Aho.
Yep, Justin Williams, that's my dude.
Down too. I'm never sorry, Joe Gaffigan, but I'm not a Capitals fan, and so I didn't get sad to see them get eliminated. But
no, not at all. I will say this: I will be the bigger man. The way Boston is playing, because that's something else that happened in this bubble. Because the top 4 seeds going into the bubble was they're playing for seeding and everything. Mm-hmm. Boston lost every one of their playing games, and so they won the President's Trophy. They were the best team in hockey, but they lost all of their playing games, and so they dropped them from 1st to 4th, and that's how they end up playing playing my boys, But they showed throughout the series why they have the President's Trophy, and I'm right now Tampa Bay. It's not gonna be pretty for you. I'm picking the Bruins to win it all.
Yeah, man. Those Bruins look tough. They're resilient, even with Tuukka Rask gone, and they had injuries in the series against the Hurricanes. They found they found a way. The Bruins will be a tough out. They're definitely representing the East in Stanley Cup Finals, man. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I think I like Vegas. I think I like Vegas out in the West.
It'd be interesting for a team that's only 3 years old to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals twice.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, again. So, to our hockey fans out there, I know we're kind of short with it, but hey, it is what it is, man. Basketball is taking place. Scottie D saying, let's go Pens. Storm Surge, me and B-Live, we still love our Hurricanes now more than ever. What'd you say, Scottie D?
That's all. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's all we got to say. And guess what, fellas? It won't be long until we'll be talking about football football, National Football League. Actually, we got a college football game, but we'll talk about that later. Coming up this weekend, was it Be Live?
Yeah. We ain't got to that point of the show yet.
We gonna pause. That's why I said we gonna hit the damn pause button. Don't sue me, Nintendo. We gonna talk about that. But right now, we gonna get into our divisional previews. We would have usually done it like every episode, a different division, but we're going to do the AFC this week, which includes the North, South, the East, and the West Division. And next week, we'll do the NFC, North, South, East, and West divisions as well, fellas. So, of course, as you know, Tom Brady, he's no longer a member of the New England Patriots. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start at the AFC East, the American Football Conference that consists of the Bills, the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets. And from the link I saw earlier, it looks like they have the Bills to go 10-6, the Patriots to go 9-7, and the Jets and the Dolphins, they're doing the same thing, but in opposite direction. They'll both finish the season at 4-12. Fellas, what we think about the AFC East division this year? Was it one of the more intriguing divisions this year?
Yeah, it is. And I actually like the Dolphins to be better than 4-12.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider them to be a contender for that division. It's hard to say. We're not going to pick the Patriots to win that division because that's been pretty much a given for the last 20 years, pretty much.
Yep.
But I think I like the momentum the Bills finished with last year, and I think I do like them to win that division. What do you say, B-Live? Is your boy Cam going to pull out that division again? Business as usual for the Pats?
And that's where I stand right now. Really, honestly, it's hard to make a prediction. What version of Cam Newton did the Patriots get? Because Cam Newton's gonna come playing with a chip on his shoulder. That's one thing off rip. And me knowing Cam Newton playing with a chip on his shoulder, ooh,
yeah,
ooh, the dude is dangerous. That being said, though, I agree with you, Scottie D, about the Bills. Like I thought the Bills were going to do it last year, finally dethrone the Patriots and everything. But they both made the playoffs. So, man, I'm going to pick the Patriots. I just think Cam Newton has so much to prove. I think he is going to leave everything on the field. And with that, he's dangerous. The guy is dangerous. I seem to forget he was the MVP of the league. They seem to forget his rookie season breaking all the passing records. They seem to forget the first half of the season prior where he went 6-2 and was had the Panthers leading the division, and people seem to forget about that because he got hit and then lost the last 8 games and then didn't play last year or whatnot. But I don't know. I still believe in Cam VP.
What you was about to say, Scottie D?
I said that stuff was a long time ago, and you know what he could really use is maybe a couple preseason games. Isn't it crazy that we don't have this stuff? Feels so far away to me because we don't have preseason and the daily look at the camps like you ordinarily do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always say I can't stand the preseason and I hate it. But you remember, guys, last year I did a video where I compared the preseason to like the beginning stages of dating. You know, and
yeah.
The regular season goes on. That's when you really start to develop your relationship. And this year it feels like we're going on a blind date. We don't have these preseason games that give us any kind of insight as to what's going on. And these teams with new coaches and new quarterbacks, they could use a couple quarters of preseason competition, I think, to get more acclimated to where we're going. I think it's going to make for some really sloppy football the first couple weeks of the season. But I've never been a fan of preseason, but I actually feel like we're kind of missing it right now.
Yep, and that'll be Bill Belichick's next his next mission. Hey, to get them to the playoffs without Tom Brady. So I'm not one to bet against Bill Belichick, so I'm gonna have to pick the Patriots. Bills look good, man. Bills look good, but yeah, them damn Patriots, man. They still got that loaded secondary, and you saw it happen with them last year. Jets, Dolphins, business as usual. Growing pains, even though the Jets did finish off strong last year. Still didn't help. And we're moving right along to the north side. So here we go. We got the Ravens, we got the Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, you know, the Cincinnati Bengals, they wound up drafting the number 1 overall draft pick out of LSU.
Boo.
Here you go. Joe Burrow. All right. And then we still have the Cleveland Browns with Baker Mayfield. Big Ben coming back for the Steelers. And the Ravens still have the MVP, Lamar Jackson. And they plan to do what they do, how they do, when they do. The Ravens have also added J.K. Dobbins and running back. And like I said, the Steelers get back Ben Roethlisberger. Think about it. Last year, under new rules, they would have been the playoffs. These are Steelers. They went 8-8 without Ben Roethlisberger. The Browns, they got a new coach. Things happen in Cleveland. And then the Bengals, we gonna see. So what we saying on the AFC North, fellas?
Man. It's going to be interesting to see what the Steelers can put together. I still think it's the Ravens division to lose because I wonder what defensive adjustments teams are going to make when it comes to Lamar Jackson.
Good call.
That because there will be adjustments. I don't think that Lamar Jackson is going to have the same amount of success that he had last year, but I honestly think he's a hard man to stop, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, I see them winning the division. I don't see them winning 14 games. It'll probably be maybe 11 or 12 games that they'll win. The Ravens will still take the division. I think the Steelers go 9-7, sneak in with a 6th or 7th seed. So, but yeah. And the Bengals, I'm sorry. Joe Burrow, I think he's going to have a good career. But it's not going to be his rookie season. This is what I think for Joe Burrow. I think he's going to have a fantastic rookie campaign. He's going to come out, give you about 4,500 yards, give you about 35 to 40 touchdowns. I think he wins Rookie of the Year. I think he puts the stats on the board, but I don't think he's going to put W's on the board this year. I think maybe second year, third year. I think he's going to have a decent career. I think he's got the talent for it, and I actually wish the man luck. Yeah, he dismantled my beloved Clemson Tigers. All roads lead to Dabo. Yeah, I had to throw that in there. But yeah, all in all, Ravens, Steelers. I think the Browns are the bottom dwellers. I just don't believe in Baker Mayfield. I just don't.
I think it comes down to those 3 players that you just mentioned. Well, not Joe Burrow. The other 3 quarterbacks are the deciding factor. Burrow, man, you got him high hopes for him this year. That's a lot of yards you predicted for him. He might be capable of that. We'll see. But the Bengals, I think we all know this is the rebuild. The Browns are ready to see the fruits of their rebuild. And again, is Baker going to take the next step? Is he going to be more the guy we saw in his rookie year or the guy we saw last year? And we've kind of talked about that before with him. With Lamar Jackson, I think he hit the nail on the head. If these coordinators are able to find some weaknesses on film and force his hand into his weak spots, I think he's got nowhere to go but down at this point. I mean, it's hard to imagine him having the kind of season he had last year. I don't know. Maybe he does. That's the big question mark. And with Roethlisberger coming back, I mean, this isn't Ben Roethlisberger at age 28 or even 38. This is a guy he's into his 40s now. And are we expecting too much to think, okay, Roethlisberger's back, it's time for the Steelers to right the ship? Because they didn't get it done with Duck Dodger and Helmet Dodger last year. Those guys. But the Steelers still finished 8-8, all things considered. Mm-hmm. You have to believe if Roethlisberger was there last year, that he was going to be worth at least 2 to 3 more wins for that team. So we'll see if we'll see what he has left in the tank. If he comes back strong and looks, maybe this is the day and age where these quarterbacks have, they're on the Brady plan where they've taken such good care of themselves that they can continue to play at a high level. Breeze is doing it. Brady's doing it. Maybe Big Ben can do it. And if he does, the Steelers are going to win the division. I think he's kind of the key here when it comes to these guys. So I think I'm going to pick the Steelers to win that division.
Okay, good pick. Honestly, I think it's the Ravens to lose. It's all on them at this point. They are the you know they are or they could be what could stop them from from winning the division. It's all on them. The Steelers will have a bounce back year. They have that number one pass rush offense that was pretty good. You can't forget T.J. Watt. Do not forget about him. They look pretty good. They just got to figure out some issues at tight end, running back, and wide receiver. And once they figure that out, they'll start clicking. Because as we said, they went 8-8 last year without Big Ben with a combination of Mason. I got hit with my own helmet. Rudolph and Duck Dodgers in the 25th and a half century. The Browns. I live in the Cleveland area. I probably won't catch heat for it, but I will say this, though. It'll be interesting to see what they do with an offensive-minded coach. I think their decision to get Kevin Stefanski as coach was a good choice as coach. This should have happened last year instead of getting Freddie Kitchens, who got moved up within a matter of 8 months. He wasn't ready for it, but I think it's Kevin Stefanski's time. And don't forget they gave Myles Garrett a bunch of money. And I think he had 10 sacks before he got suspended for the rest of the season. He'll be back. And then the Bengals, let's just hope A.J. Green can stay healthy.
Yeah, that is a big factor on the success of Joe Burrow. So,
yeah,
we shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. Moving right along, we going to the dirty, dirty South, the AFC South. Texans, Colts, Titans, and the Jaguars. Wow. All right, fellas, so here we go. Houston, no DeAndre Hopkins. What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
No.
I think Houston is self-destructing. I'm going to pick them to miss the playoffs this year. They keep going and then really not making any noise in the playoffs. And I know we love our Clemson quarterback down there, but when you took away his best weapon, man, I think that took away some credibility of Bill O'Brien. I think the clock is ticking on him. I think I'm going to go with the Colts to win the division this year.
Okay.
I think they were really close and last year, and then Andrew Luck just pulled the plug. That was kind of a last-second deal, and it was right around this time last year, was it not? Wasn't it in August when he did that?
I think it's a 1-year anniversary, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and so now they get Phillip Rivers, who, again, he's another guy we have to see how much he has left in the tank. They can protect him. He's got some weapons there in Indianapolis. I'm afraid with the Titans that if teams key on Derrick Henry and stop him down, or if he gets injured, gets beat up carrying too much, Ryan Tannehill, I still don't think is a guy that's going to carry that team. So having said all that, I'm not sold on Minshew just yet in Jacksonville. So I'm going Colts to win that division.
You're not sold on Uncle Rico?
Not sold.
Oh man, I agree with Scottie D.
What in the world?
This
38 minutes and 10 seconds to the podcast. B-Live agrees with Scottie D. Go ahead and tell us why. Opine on that.
Brewers, the Pirates on a roll. B-Live is agreeing with me. Things are getting a little weird here.
It's definitely.
Has it rained yet in Western Pennsylvania?
It actually has not. No.
Of course not.
Well,
of course not. We can't have it all. And the Pirates still have the worst record in baseball. All right, but the 3-game winning streak still can't get them off the bottom of the barrel.
The hottest turd burger on the grill. Go ahead, B-Live.
So I'm hot about just how does Bill O'Brien still have a job? And I really, honestly, God, I don't think he has command of the locker room anymore. That he can't. No, he can't. There's no way that the players are behind him right now. I think right now, really, and this might sound selfish about my boy, but Deshaun Watson, just get your money. Just get your money, bro. I mean, it's a business. As much as I know he wants to win the Super Bowl, I mean, that's his mentality, bro. Get your money. Make them pay. Yeah, make them pay you. Get your money, and just live life. Hey, I'm gonna tell you that right now. When it comes to the Tennessee Titans, I think they're too one-dimensional. Ryan Tannehill, if he can stay healthy, but yeah, I think that I'm not sold on Phillip Rivers, but I think out of the 4 teams in the AFC, this will be the tightest division. This will be the tightest division race of all the divisions in football. But I will I will.
I could see a 9-7 winning that division.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. So, whew, I can't agree with Scottie D. I think the Titans. I think they're playing. They got a chip on their shoulder. I think they ride off of the success that they had last year. Nobody gave them a chance last year.
Nope.
And I think that just that factor, albeit might sound crazy, but I think that factor pushes them further this year than what's going on in the rest of the locker rooms and what's going on. Like I said, Houston, God bless America. Deshaun Watson's my boy. And maybe him and Fuller have that connection this year.
That's if he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
Yeah, that's another thing. Will Fuller got to stay healthy, and for the Colts, T.Y. Hilton got to stay healthy. Once again, for the Texans, J.J. Watt, he got to stay healthy. Their defense is falling apart. There's too much going on in Houston. Meanwhile, the Colts, we shall see. There's another young running back breathing down the neck of Marlon Mack, and Marlon Mack is in a contract here. So we're going to see how he performs. Fellas, do you realize not too long ago, the Jacksonville Jaguars were known as Saxonville, and they were slated to be going to the Super Bowl representing the AFC. Was it too far? What, a couple years ago?
Yeah.
A couple years ago, and then they plug in Nick Foles thinking that was going to be their ticket. And I think he's already gone, right? Didn't he go to Chicago already after just a season down there?
Yeah, he got hurt last year. Then they shipped him off to Chicago, and so now it's him and Mitchell Trubisky battling for that job and that mess up there. Uncle Rico Gardner Minshew was a great story, but I'm kind of like you, Scottie D. I don't know.
Yeah, I got to see more from him, I think, before I start picking them.
Yep. So it's going to be a 2-team race as far as I'm concerned between the Colts and the Titans, and I think the Titans will do what they did last year, get hot around the end of the season, and they're going to win the division. Moving right along to the west side, we going to the AFC West. The reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers, didn't say San Diego, the Denver Broncos, and the Las Vegas Raiders with their nice-looking stadium. They look good, too. Where you stand on the AFC West, Scottie D?
Where we all stand, where everybody in the country stands, the Chiefs have already won this division pretty much. It's really not a contest. They have the best player in football. They are strong everywhere. They're not looking behind them because the Raiders, the Chargers, they're starting over at quarterback. That's a rebuild. Vegas seems to be all over the place. The Broncos actually look like they have a game plan. They got Drew Lock. They actually decided to let him play last year and get some reps. And, they added a couple good young players to the draft. They got Melvin Gordon, who's a veteran running back. I'm not yet saying they're not going to contend for that division. That's the Chiefs division. I think we all kind of agree on that, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. There's not much for discussion here. I'm going to say that I think this is a resurging year for Derek Carr and the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they'll finish second in the division. It'll probably be 7-9 or 8-8 for them. But yeah, this is the Chiefs. The only reason why the Chiefs weren't the number one seed last year is because Patrick Mahomes got hurt and was out for 3 games, something like that.
Yeah,
and then he just got back healthy and did Patrick Mahomes things. It's just yeah. In
the words of rapper Willie D, no more talk. All three of us say that the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to win the freaking division. All right, so here we go. For the AFC West, we all picked the Chiefs. For the AFC South, I picked the Titans. Scottie D, you picked?
The Colts.
B-Live, you picked?
I picked the Titans.
All right, and the North, Scottie D, you picked?
I took the Steelers.
I took the Ravens, and B-Live, you picked?
I picked the Ravens.
All right, and going back to the east side.
I had the Bills.
Scottie D had the Bills. B-Live?
I had the Patriots.
And I had the Patriots too. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the AFC Divisional preview. We really hope you enjoyed it because guess what? Football is coming up around the corner. And speaking of football, the Sports Bros Podcast Fantasy Football League, from the looks of it, looks like everybody's coming back. There were 2 new entries. You got till Saturday to let me know something because the live draft will be going down August 31st. 9 o'clock. It's on a Monday night, and it's going to be fun. And I've been doing my mock draft, and all you suckers better get ready because it's fitting to rain on everybody's parade.
It doesn't rain in Western Pennsylvania, buddy. I'm feeling pretty good.
Well, hopefully I can bring you some of that rain. So be live. You mighty quiet. You ain't talking no fantasy trash. What's going on?
No, I'm gonna save my trash talk till after the draft.
Okay.
I got a strategy. I got a plan in action. I'm gonna return to my fame and glory as a 3-time Cool Football League champion.
Oh boy, here we go, that bragging man.
You asked for it. I did. You asked for it. I was gonna leave it alone, but I was like, you know what? I can't just go. Just let.
You can't help you. You can't help yourself. I'm over here like, why is B Live giving me a slice of humble pie? What the hell is going on? Is it the B Live I've been knowing for the past 20 plus years? What the hell is going on?
Nah, yep, you're right.
What in the hell is going on? Next week, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats, dogs, monkeys, Pikachus, and Charmanders, we'll be doing a preview of the NFC division, the NFC conference, which includes the North, South, and East, West divisions as well, too. Guess what, fellas? It's our favorite time of the show. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and lovely Miss Button for the introduction to our favorite portion of the show. You heard the woman choices of the voices. We all these episodes in, and this is the session that we live for, the choices of the voices, because we ask the questions, and we want to hear what y'all got to talk about, and then we going to talk about it, and everybody's just going to be talking. With that being said, Scottie D, what's the question to this week's choices of the voices?
All right, this week I asked, who is your all-time fantasy football stud? And we had some crickets, man. Didn't get a whole lot of responses this week. I thought we'd get a lot more because fantasy football is a nationwide phenomenon that seems to be getting bigger and bigger every single year. And we only had a couple of responses, but that's okay. We'll kick those around and talk about our own here and see where that takes us, Eddy Kool.
In the words of Ray Charles, I make it do what it do, baby. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and make it do what it do. Ill Will Berry, he leads off, and he says LaDainian Tomlinson is an all-time fantasy stud, and he explains why. He didn't explain why, but needless to say that LaDainian Tomlinson is the dude. He had that season, I think it was back in 2006, where he had 481.1 points. Everybody plays a different style in the league. In our league, we do a Wild Wild West style where we just score a bunch of points and have a bunch of bragging rights, and we have fun with it. He said first pick this year, Christian McCaffrey. When a running back averages 101 catches a year, he's going to win you a lot of games. That's if you're in a PPR format. With the white hot speed of the Panthers that they have with Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuels, and Teddy Bridgewater's short game accuracy, Christian McCaffrey should see a substantial increase in his yards after catch, with all the room underneath the coverage scoring him with even more points. So so he gave us a 2-for-1. Christian McCaffrey and LaDainian Tomlinson. And Christian McCaffrey, he also had a bomb season. I think it's second all time to LT with 471 points.
Yeah, I think McCaffrey is kind of looked at right now as the universal number one. If you go to look at like the different fantasy sites and magazines, I think he's kind of pretty much considered the number one from what I've seen. Have you guys experienced that at all? Have you looked at any of that stuff?
I have, yeah, because I'm looking at Sports Illustrated right now. He said
McCaffrey's the number one on theirs. They're ranked.
Yep. Yeah, it says McCaffrey is a once in a generation talent. He is the clear cut top pick in all fantasy formats in 2020. End quote.
All right, well, and Will's right. For many years, Tomlinson was it for a lot of years back around the first decade of the 2000s. It was LT or LDT, as some would call him. He was putting up big numbers. I think he has, if he doesn't still have it, he did have the all-time rushing touchdown record for a season or two there. I think that's been traded around. I think maybe Sean Alexander or one of those other guys may have broken that. But yeah, he was like the fantasy dog there for several years.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that he was. Moving right along, we got Brian Gardner, and he says, I'm torn between LaDainian Tomlinson, a guy we just mentioned, and Megatron Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson was the
whole problem.
I think didn't he have a 2,000-yard season at one point or close to it?
I believe he sniffed it.
Yeah, he was close. And if he was your WR1, he was racking up for you those for a few years there. Again, we talked about this so many times, but man, what him and Barry Sanders, those 10-year careers in Detroit, and then boom, out.
In and out. To our listeners in the Detroit area, can you tell us what in the hell is going on with your team? Because right now you got a talented wide receiver duo of Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay. You better get it together because they're going to be gone too. I'm just saying. I am just saying. All right, Tom Wynn, he just says, you know how I feel about fantasy football. Scott, we don't know how Tom Wynn feels about it. Do you know how he feels about it?
Yeah, he doesn't really care. That's what I gathered from that. I guess he's not a fantasy football player. But thanks for the comment, Tom. That was very insightful.
We greatly appreciate it. Keep the segment alive. Yeah, a lot of people have mixed feelings about fantasy football. You know, it's all about team allegiances and rooting for another guy from another team, or you got like a division, like, you know, for example, I had Julio Jones for a few years and they played the Panthers, and I'm over here just sitting in the chair like, I want the Panthers to win, but I want Julio to go off.
Yeah. That's always a mixed emotion thing when you have somebody that's kicking your own team's butt. And I have to tell you, whenever I'm watching it, I try to put fantasy football stuff aside when I'm watching my own team play. And in case you guys are wondering, I root for the Dallas Cowboys. That's my team. So if I'm watching the Cowboys play and one of these guys goes off against the Cowboys, I'm not happy. I'd rather take a fantasy loss and watch my team win on the field in real life. But you hear that all the time. If you go to a sports bar on Sunday, you'll hear somebody say, oh, man, Julio Jones went off today. He's on my fantasy football team. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm not. I still want to see him get shut down if he's playing the Cowboys.
I understand that. B-Live, how you feel about fantasy football?
Man, as a veteran of fantasy football, I've been doing fantasy football for 19 years now, which is
a long time.
Yeah. And the reason why I started fantasy football is because I couldn't, my freshman year in college, I couldn't watch TV, so I couldn't watch the games in real time. So I would watch it on my, I'd watch it following the stats on fantasy football. That was the only way I was able to get the scores and everything. And I was like, man, I grew to love it. I was like, I felt like I had my own team. And I've had a successful go at it, except for this past year. In one league that I was in, I got a fresh tattoo because of it. But that's neither here nor there. But when it comes to fantasy football studs, I am torn between Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
They have both led me to fantasy championships. And I think just really over the course of time, I just think like, until like just recently, this past year or two, but Drew Brees was good for 5,000 plus yards. It was almost automatic. He was going to get you 5,000, and I mean, just the longevity of his career and everything. Now the Saints have more options as far as like with the running game and the different schemes and everything. So, but yeah, I think that just. Drew Brees has probably put up more fantasy points from the quarterback position than anybody in the history of ever. Like Drew Brees and Tom Brady have had this about almost the same length of career and everything, but Drew Brees has always outpassed Tom Brady. yard-wise, touchdown, except for that one magical year that Tom Brady had Randy Moss. That was just ridiculous.
Ugh.
That was just ridiculous. But besides,
I was like
Oh, go ahead, Scottie D.
I said that was like a video game year. That was just like Madden football the way they were putting
Right.
up numbers that year.
Didn't make no damn sense. So Be Live, you said Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I got you. Scottie D, who you got?
To me, when I think of recent history, the biggest fantasy football stud was Adrian Peterson. I mean, he was like he took the torch from Tomlinson and became like everybody's number one stud guy. I've been in a dynasty league for several years, and going back to the origin of that league, which I actually won that league the first couple of years, and I think almost the third year. And Peyton Manning was my quarterback that was just steady, just putting up big numbers year after year. He was like a video game. And also on that team, I had Jason Witten for pretty much all of his career. So those two were two of my biggest fantasy studs. I did have different running backs, but Peyton Manning was always my quarterback through, man, I had him probably for 10 years, I think, going back to when we started that league years and years and years ago. When I think back in college, though, Emmitt Smith was a really big fantasy delivery guy because he caught a lot of balls too. He obviously was getting a lot of touchdowns from the goal line behind that big line, and he had a lot. Troy Aikman did a lot of just like kind of little swing passes and dump off passes to Emmitt to rack up yards. So you're getting catches and yards after the catch and those rushing touchdowns. So Emmitt was a pretty legendary fantasy guy. Whenever I was really starting to get into fantasy football, everybody wanted Emmitt Smith and Steve Young because Steve Young was the running quarterback, So those are kind of the fantasy football legends going back to my starting time.
All right, that's pretty damn cool. Pretty doggone cool. Wow, Peyton Manning. Imagine having one quarterback 10 years in a row. Sometimes you'd be lucky to get a quarterback for 3 years in a row, if that. So that leaves me. Drew Brees. Drew Brees helped me win my first ever NFL fantasy football championship. When it comes to fantasy football, other than last year, Drew Brees has been the model of consistency, as B Live said. Almost guaranteed 5,000 yards, never gets hurt. He doesn't do anything silly with the ball. I mean, Drew Brees is a tactician. He is a surgeon. He takes ball and put it here, put it there, put it everywhere. The all-time leader in passing yards professionally is Drew Brees. Drew Brees has helped me win a championship. I wish I remember that fella's name that helped me win my other fantasy football championship, the CFL. Now, how many people have won a CFL fantasy football championship and an NFL fantasy football championship?
You were in CFL fantasy football?
I was bored. I'll be honest with you. I was bored, and I was like, you know what? I said, I'm going to do both leagues this year. I kind of want to fine-tune myself for the NFL regular season. And I forgot the CFL has like 50 weeks of football. So what I did was I said, well, I'm just going to I was like scrolling through the App Store, and I was like, oh, CFL, fantasy football. And so that made me watch the CFL more and know more about the players and the rules and everything. Okay, so I picked this one. And did they play a defense? No, it was just your flex player and all that. So I think the league was called the Tracy Ham League, if I'm not mistaken. So that's how I wound up playing a Canadian football fantasy football league and winning that one. And then,
Well, if you got to resort to CFL fantasy, Eddie, you have yourself a problem.
I have a problem. Okay, because I did win an NFL fantasy football league, so now I don't feel as bad, but I hold that distinction. You remember the time Chris Jericho won 2 belts in the same night? That's how I feel. Woo! I won 2 belts. 2 belts. But it's Be Live. Shut up before you say it, Be Live. You didn't win your own league. So I'm okay.
I didn't. I wasn't going to say that, but you will.
I smell it. Stop. I say it for you. It's on the way. Yes, Be Live. I do hold the dubious distinction of being the commissioner of my own league and never winning my league. I digress.
But check this out. I'm actually dabbling in Yahoo Fantasy right now, and I'm going through my archives.
Oh.
And when I won a league in 2005, and I see why I won the league. Because I had Drew Brees at the helm, and that was the year. You remember the name Sean Alexander?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
1,880 yards rushing, 27 touchdowns. I was looking, I'm like, oh my goodness. Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
an NFL record.
Yes. So I'm just going through here. Who is a Rudy Johnson?
He was a backup for
Running back?
he was a running back for the Bengals.
Yeah, 1,458 of his own and 12 touchdowns.
So you had Rudy Johnson and Sean Alexander?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you won. Yeah. That's why you won. I mean, because you know, like a lot of people, you know, like if you notice the trend listeners to our listeners, we've all talked about quarterbacks, but it's been told for the past like what 8, 9, 10 years, you got to get a good running back. You got to get a good running back. You got to get a good running back. So B-Live was fortunate to have Rudy Johnson and Sean Alexander with 11,000 yards and 900 touchdowns.
And then sprinkle in a little Marvin Harrison and Chris Chambers that year too. Both of them had 1,100 yards receiving and 11 and 12 yards, 11 and 12 touchdowns respectively. I had a squad. It's back in 2005.
Wow.
My team name was Panther Pride. Yes. I'm sorry. I know I'm babbling and I digress heavily. But
you good.
Just the fact that I'm able to pull up these stats from that long ago. Thank you, Yahoo.
Yeah, I thought about pulling up my stats. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. So shout out to Will Berry, Brian Gardner, and Tom Wynn for their participation in this week's edition of Choices of the Voices. Scottie D, what's the question for next week's Choices of the Voices?
All right, we're going to be back to reality and talk about some real football. I haven't done a question about this specifically, but I've done this type of question before on other positions. But who is the best tight end in NFL history? Or we'll just say the best tight end that you've ever seen. So we won't have to go back to the 20s. Only Uncle Max can do that. Sorry, low-hanging fruit on that one. Sorry, Uncle Max. But I will say who's the best tight end. We'll ask you to give us 3. Top 3. It's a little easier. Sorry.
We love you. Top 3 tight. Oh, I felt that. In the atmosphere when you said back to the 20s. I said he gonna do it. He gonna say
he gonna do it. He gonna get him. He gonna get him.
Uncle Max, we love you, man.
My favorite. I apologize.
Uncle Max, man, we love you, man. Shout out to Uncle Max. He said dating back to the 20s.
Oh boy.
Man, Uncle Max, you better not go past Dave. You better not go no further back to Dave Casper. That's it. Stop.
Oh man, classic. Love it.
Your 3 best tight ends you've ever saw. We'll give us those for next week.
All right, we're gonna what's the cutoff date? 1980. No, let me stop. There's been a lot of great tight ends before, during, and after. But favorite tight ends. I made a video about one particular tight end and how come he ain't in the Hall of Fame yet. And I'm pleading this case for the Hall of Fame. But I'm not gonna say his name. I'll post the video. I'm not gonna do that. Just tune in to next week's show. All right, fellas. Well, guess what? Since we got a short edition of Choices of the Voices, it's time to bring back MVP of the week, where we pick an athlete who had a very outstanding performance in the week in the world of sports. And I'll go first. My MVP of the week goes out to Pat McAfee. That's right, the guy that's a loudmouth punter from Scott's side of town over in Pittsburgh, who went to West Virginia University, who turned out to be a pretty good punter. If you haven't been keeping up with Pat since he retired, he has a job with World Wrestling Entertainment as a commentator. And then last Saturday in NXT TakeOver 30, he had a match against Adam Cole, baby. And the man executed a moonsault. He did a flip off the top rope. Pat McAfee had a pretty good showing for this being his first time in the ring. And a lot of times, you got wrestlers want to be football players, and football players want to be wrestlers and everything. So, So shout out to Pat McAfee for a pretty good performance this week as my MVP of the week. Be live. Who you got?
Man, oh man. I'm going to say this the best way I can say it. It might be slightly controversial the way I say it, but I'm gonna put it on the air, and I'm gonna let Eddy Kool edit it if need be. My MVP for the week is that punk ass white boy.
Thank you.
Not
Thank you, V-Live.
No, you just a punk.
Wow. Wow.
Nah, but check this out. Luka Doncic. How you say his last name?
Doncic.
Doncic.
Luka. He's a first name basis. Luka.
Luka.
Yeah, Luka.
That dude.
Yeah.
Check this out, because I happened to look at the stats of before and after, because the guy that terminology came from was Montrezl Harrell,
With the L.
With an L, and he proceeded to apologize afterwards. There's a lot of backlash. Charles Barkley had a piece about it, and I respect what Charles had to say about it and everything, because we don't want a double standard. We just want to treat everybody with respect. But hey, check this out. Maybe you shouldn't be talking smack, Montrez, because that same game, you scored 2 points.
2 points
in 17 minutes, while after being called a punk and all these other things, Luka just comes out and decides to drop 43 points, 17 rebounds, and 13 assists. Bruh. He said, I'm going to talk on the court with my skill. Luka is that dude, bruh. And I'm telling you, Luka's got me believing in these Dallas Mavericks. I'm telling you, it's tied 2-2 against the Clippers. The Clippers were my pick to win it all. But I don't know.
They lean up on them ropes, man. They bounce up against the ropes.
I'm just saying. It's going to be very interesting. I think this is going to go to 7 games. Luka is my MVP of the week. Tip of the cap to you, sir.
Scottie D, who you got for your MVP of the week?
I'm going to go with Dustin Johnson from Coastal Carolina
University. Yes, sir. My bad.
Johnson got 30 under to win the TPC Boston this past weekend. On Friday, Scottie Scheffler shot a 59 in the morning, and in the afternoon, DJ was 10 under after 10 holes, and then he parred the last 7 holes to shoot a 60. He needed one more birdie to match it, and 2 more to I think tie the record, which is 58, held by Jim Furyk, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not an expert. Forgive me if I was wrong there. But regardless, Scheffler's final score after 4 days was 17 under. DJ's was 30 under. That is a weekend of golf right there, boys. So DJ, he is my MVP of the week.
Shout out to Dustin Johnson, Luka Doncic, and Pat McAfee, as you fellas have been selected for the MVP of the week here at the Sports Bros Podcast. Well, guess what, fellas? Rounding in third, coming home. I don't want to mess up these brand new cleats because they're so fresh and so clean. Don't sue me. I got no money. It's time for another round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics. We opine about it. And in typical Eddy Kool fashion, since the coronavirus first happened, it's been a lot of sports that's been going on after the fact. But I like giving y'all some history, some good history. So I'm going to do history, and the boys, the bros, they're going to talk some current stuff in the world of sports. And I'll go first. On this day in 1972, Gordie Howe and Jean Beliveau, hockey, that's right, they get inducted into the Ice Hockey Hall of Fame. All right, so for those of you that you probably heard the term, a Gordie Howe hat trick. Somebody asked me, what is a Gordie Howe hat trick? Somebody asked me. I'm glad you asked, Scottie D. A Gordie Howe hat trick consists of 1 goal, 1 assist, and 1 fight.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I kind of like that hat trick more than the regular hat trick. But I will not fight Bob Probert. I just can't do it. He knocked a lot of people out. But yeah, Gordie Howe, Jean Beliveau of the Montreal Canadiens goes into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, speaking of fighting this past Saturday night, veteran Frank Edgar moved down to 135 and took on Pedro Munoz. Frankie was a heavy underdog, so I thought, hey, I'm going to try to get a little bit of action in on him. For whatever reason, my website wouldn't take my bet, so I could not get the money down. And then I watched the fight, and I thought, good, because Frankie lost. But he actually won, so I lost. But I didn't actually lose. I just didn't win. But Frankie Edgar won a split decision. He's now in the mix at 135 after a split decision win over Pedro Munoz in the UFC. That's all I got for Frankie Edgar. Over to you, Bilal.
All right. I've got an interesting story from across the pond. Scottie D's favorite sport of soccer.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, check this out real quick, though. When it comes to soccer and all the different teams and all the different divisions, and it's a lot going on. So there's a period of point in time where you have your roster, you have your players that are signed to your team. At certain points in time, you can actually, the players that you have, you can actually loan them to other teams for like if they may pick up the contract, or they may actually just they return after a year. If you have a young and rising star that you want to get a little bit more experience with another team, you loan them off. Another team pays for the rights for them for a year or something like that. The reason why I'm saying this, I'm trying to explain it to you. So when it comes to soccer, you can loan players that play for another team, and there's certain clauses in the contract and everything like that. So an up-and-coming rising, basically one of the biggest stars that plays for Liverpool, Barcelona wanted them. They were trying to beef up their program and everything. So they reached a deal with Liverpool. Barcelona reached a deal with Liverpool to pick up Philippe Coutinho.
Okay.
So check this out. He played with the team for a couple of years, and the locker room situation wasn't working out. So Barcelona they paid for the rights for Philippe Coutinho, but also there was a clause from getting him from Liverpool. If Coutinho wins the Champions League, Barcelona has to pay Liverpool 5 million euro. I think it's either 5 million euro or 5 million pounds. I don't know what they do over there.
Bunch of money though.
So, but this is what happens. Barcelona ends up loaning Philippe Coutinho to Bayern Munich, which is a rival team. Why are you laughing? Let me pepper this.
I led someone a flashlight one time. It didn't go well either, but go ahead.
Shut up.
Keep going, be live.
But check this out. Not only does Philippe Coutinho and Bayern Munich end up beating Barcelona and eliminating them from the Champions League, they end up winning the Champions Cup. And now Barcelona has to pay Liverpool 5 million euro for a guy that they loaned off to another team and ended up beating them, eliminating them, and ended up winning the Champions League Cup. So they got to pay $5 million to their rival team.
Wow.
For loaning off a player. Thank you to Sammy Smokes for that story. I laughed when I read it. I was like, oh my God, this is irony at its finest. Eddy Kool, the ball.
Okay, so they loan the guy to the rival. The guy beats them. The guy wins the cup, and due to the guy winning, they got to pay X amount. You know what? I wouldn't know how I feel about that. I'm cussing.
It's a pretty big deal. They are laughing like Liverpool fans are like they're putting up memes and everything. Pay the man. Pay us. We need our queen. So this, oh my God, I love it.
Wow, I've heard it all. That's a good story. Be live. All right, now fellas. Now you know there's no preseason football. They just have a training camp and beelining straight into the regular season. We got the Chiefs and the Texans on the 10th of September, right? On a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. But on this day in 1992, where they still had large gatherings and they still played preseason football, The Cleveland Browns, they get destroyed in a preseason game by the Minnesota Vikings. Does anybody want to guess the score? I'll start with you, Scottie D.
I can't guess. I have no idea.
Be live.
Was it 56-3?
Y'all, ding, 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 ding. You guessed it. They hung a big old fat, juicy 50 burger on the Browns during preseason. I thought they were supposed to be playing, but I guess the Vikings had a point to prove.
They playing college ball.
Yes, this is a preseason game in 1992. So we can't even get a preseason game now to go past 25 points. These jokers put up 56 points to 3. Towards the end of the show, I'm going to see who was on that roster. We'll talk about that later. Over to you, Scottie D. 56 points. What the hell?
All right. Last week, during a broadcast on the Cincinnati Reds game, Tom made an insensitive remark about gay people. And in the second game of the doubleheader, they yanked him off the air. He issued an apology. I don't know if he'll be forgiven. He's been with that organization many years. Yet to see how that shakes out. Some said his apology was insincere. I don't know. I'm not here to decipher that. But in the meantime, on NBC, Mike Milbury and Brian Boucher were talking about the bubble, the NHL bubble. And Brian Boucher said that if you enjoy playing and enjoy being with your teammates after long periods of time, that was a perfect place to play. Milbury responded by saying, it's the perfect place, not even any women there to disrupt your concentration.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I
mean. And guys, you just can't say anything anymore. Jesus. I don't know if I accept that apology because I don't really think he's anything that crazy. I mean, are we getting our feelings hurt about every little thing? He didn't say anything bad about women. He said they can disrupt your concentration. That's more on the players, isn't it? That, you have to kind of keep your focus on the game. So just let that be a warning to you guys. Be careful what you say here, okay? All right.
Yeah. They'll crucify us on some mess.
They'll bust you up.
And want to be perfectly clear, we here at the Sports Bros podcast, we respect anyone and everyone. We are just we're just guys that love sports. We have no affiliation with nothing. So we just hit us up in the email if you feel like something is offensive, and we will do what we do. We aim to please all. We're not professionals.
We'll apologize if I once again say something controversial. We'll apologize.
Yes. Sports Bros Podcast at Gmail. Sports Bros PCast at gmail.com. Cool. All right. I'm gonna throw in my second pepper point real quick, if I could. The AP Top 25 College Football Poll came out today, and it's quite the interesting one because it includes all the teams, as opposed to the teams that are not playing this fall, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. And all roads lead to Dabo because Clemson got the most votes, and it's the number one team in the preseason AP Top 25. Let's get it. Let's go. I'm ready for football. I'm trying to tell you.
We are number one.
No, there's no we. Who is we? Boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you come on. You ride the bandwagon. It's okay. Because, I will say this again. I'm the Pittsburgh. Who's y'all college mascot?
The Panthers. They're the one that beat Clemson that year. They won the national championship.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, here we go. I appreciate it. It was the longest ride home from Clemson to Fayetteville. That night I was hurt, but it's okay because they came back and totally redeemed themselves. A little Dumb and Dumber reference, because they went on to dismantle the rest of the teams that they played to leave no doubt.
We're number one. We're number one.
Yeah, I got a finger for you. All right.
Oh boy.
Eddy Kool, the ball.
Oh man. All right. Third and final pepper point on this day in history back in 2006. Damn, it seemed like so long ago. Jerry Rice, the greatest wide receiver in the history of the world, Craig, he signed a one-day contract with the San Francisco 49ers to retire as a 49er. That made me think about my brother Everett. He was a 49ers fan, and I remember my brother Everett and my brother Michael would tell me stories about how the 49ers would come to the Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach area, and they would drive them around, take them to the clubs, places. And the 49ers, well, they like to have fun. So, Jerry Rice said, you know what? I'm done. If I'm retired with any jersey, it's going to be with a 49ers jersey. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right. Once again on the apology theme here. So last week, Fernando Tatis of the San Diego Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr., actually, his dad was a good player, but this kid, Fernando Tatis Jr., is quickly becoming one of the most exciting young players in all of baseball. But last week, he hit his first career grand slam against the Texas Rangers, and after the game, he had to apologize for it. So they were up 10-3 or 10-4 in the bottom of the eighth, and he had a 3-0 count against Juan Nicasio of the Rangers, and he hit one out of the yard. He didn't take the pitch on 3-0. The Rangers were I guess butthurt. Is that the new term that goes around now?
Yeah, that's the term. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really upset. They threw a ball behind Manny Machado. Even up 14 to, they ended up winning 14-4. It was 10-3 at the time. After the game, his own manager kind of said, we weren't really super thrilled about him doing that. We're not trying to run up the score. But, guys, baseball is the one sport that there is no clock. You never run out of time. You just have outs. So I watched the Pittsburgh Pirates at the time who couldn't hit their way out of a brown paper bag. They sent 12 guys to the plate 2 weeks ago and scored like 7 or 8 runs in the inning. You mean to tell me if the Rangers came up in the 9th inning and had a chance to score 7 runs and tie the game, they're not going to do that? I go along with a lot of baseball's unwritten rules. I'm against the guy hitting a home run and standing in the plate and admiring it and crazy bat flips and showing each other up. That's old school baseball. And if you do that, you're going to get hit with a pitch. But guys, you get paid a lot depending on your stats. And this young kid's up there and he sees a fastball coming down the middle. He hits it. If you want to be mad at your pitcher for not getting him out, for running up a 3-0 count to begin with. So Fernando Tatis, I don't accept your apology either because I don't think you had anything to be sorry for there, Junior. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep raking because the Padres, I think, from then on, the next 3 games hit a grand slam. So that team's hot out there. But again, baseball's unwritten rules, I think, in this case, a little bit to the extreme. So keep your eyes, guys, on Fernando Tatis Jr. of the San Diego Padres. Over to you, B-Live.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me interject. They call San Diego Slam Diego.
Slam Diego, nice. I like.
Yes, yeah, Slam Diego. And then I remember seeing a video. I think I sent you guys that video where Hosmer was like, "I'll talk to him." Eric Hosmer, let me tell you something. I'm about to use my one pass. Eric Hosmer, don't you say a word. All right. Don't say nothing because you know what? Just like Scottie D said, he worked him into a 3-0 count. The bases are loaded. So what's the worst? Okay, so guess what? What's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know. He could walk him, and then guess what? You got a runner. You got a runner coming in. Getting walked home on third, and you got Tatis walking to the bag. Guess what? The bases are still loaded. Eric Hosmer, you can go to hell. Over to you, B-Live.
Right. Before Luka, I was actually that was gonna be my MVP for the week. The 4 players for San Diego that hit grand slams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's crazy. Never been done before.
Nope.
But Luka's that dude though. But check this out. Guess what, fellas? This is the last week that we don't have football.
Dun, 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 dun.
This coming Saturday is going down. It's going to feature Austin Peay and the Governors.
Governor.
The Governors going against Central Arkansas, the Bears, at 9 p.m. FCS Football Championship Series, ESPN, 9 o'clock. We will have this game on sound at Max Speed Shop. Yes, sir. It's got to happen. Football this Saturday. Come see your boy.
Wait, who's playing?
The Austin Peay Governors against the Central Arkansas Bears.
Austin Peay
Yep.
Fly is down. Let's go Peay.
All right, that's it for another edition of Pepper. While you were talking, fellas, you remember when I was talking about that Browns team that took that 56-3 preseason shellacking? Here are some notable names in that organization at that point in time. They finished 7-9 that season. Bill Belichick was the coach. Okay. Yeah, Bill Belichick was a coach. Art Modell, Sneaky Man at Night, he was the owner of the team. Let's see what we got here. The quarterbacks consisted of Bernie Kosar, Todd Philcox, and Mike Tomczak. Some more notable names. Clay Matthews Clay Matthews Jr. was on there. Yeah, old man Clay Matthews was on there. Let's see. Eric Turner, Matt Stover, the all-time kicker. Anthony Pleasant. Michael Dean Perry, sounds like an R&B singer.
Bridges brother.
Huh?
That's the Bridges brother.
Okay. All right. Yep. Sure is. Let's see. The tight ends. Brian Kitchen. Get out my kitchen because you're burning my grits. Mark Bavaro. Let's see what we got here. Bob Dahl. Leroy Horde. Kevin Mack. Eric Metcalf was a bad man. Tommy Vardell, Sean Collins. Them dudes got smoked 56-3 in a preseason game. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. But before we go, we got to tell you where you can find us. Will B-Live be going to St. Louis? Where can they find you, B-Live? Will you let us know?
Well, before I let the people know where they can find me, I had to look it up. The cheer from Austin Peay University goes back to the 1970s when James Fly Williams, a New York City streetball legend, was a guard for the Governors. They used to say, "The fly's open, let's go pee. We're going to pee on you. We're going to pee on you."
I'll be saying all day Saturday because I can't wait for that game.
Wow. Yes. With that being said, you can find me, your boy. You can find me working at Max Speed Shop here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, 482 North McPherson Church Road, home of the best burgers and brisket in town. 55 beers on tap, 55 now, because we now have 4 wines on tap. Fancy, huh? Mm-hmm. Got over 150 bottles and cans of beer. Always updating that every day. When it comes to the Sports Bros Podcast, you can find us on Facebook, on our Facebook like page, Sports Bros Podcast. You can actually find us on with our Facebook group, the Sports Bros Family. You can check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is Sports Bros Podcast. Twitter is at Sports Bros PCast. You can also, if you have any comments about the show, as I said earlier, check us, shoot us an email, sportsbrospcast@gmail.com. Check out our YouTube page, Sports Bros Podcast. Look up some of our archives. You can also look at our website for news stories. Eddy Kool, the head of creative, is on his writing thing, doing his thing with that. It's thesportsbrospodcast.wordpress.com. Found out last week that Scottie D had no idea what that was. So I'm glad that he's on board with us now. And check us out. We'll still look for those recommendations, man. They definitely greatly help us. With Facebook is our main source of how we get our stuff out. So the more recommendation, more stars we have, it goes a long way. So we greatly appreciate that. Thank you all.
All right, Scottie D, where can they find you?
On social media, you can find me on Facebook, and then you could hopefully find me on a golf course here sometime during the week in Western Pennsylvania, where it just doesn't rain. And then Saturday, you can find me watching Austin Peay against who's it? Arkansas State or something?
Central Arkansas.
Oh man, I'm gonna go buy a big hoagie for that game and just plant myself in front of the TV all day. So that's where you can find me. Let's go Bucks!
Wow.
Yep, let's go Bucks. Let me see. Was it Austin Peay and Central Arkansas? I think that's, if I'm not saying, Ohio Valley.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, some good old Ohio Valley football.
Woo!
Yep. And with that being said, I go by the name of Eddy Kool, aka the head of creative here at the Sports Bros Podcast. You can reach me on Facebook, Eddy Kool, that's me. Also, you can reach me on the Sports Bros Podcast Facebook like page. Also, you can check me out, Instagram, Cool Season, all one word. Snapchat, if you do that, Super Cool 5000, and all the aforementioned Sports Bros podcast platforms that the almighty Be Live did mention. You can find me there as well, too. What was I doing? Yeah, that's right, fellas. So I'm over here looking at Michael Dean Perry, and then I looked at his brother, William the Refrigerator Perry, and in 1996, he played for the London Monarchs. Yeah, go figure. And the Fridge is also a 1996 WWE Hall of Famer, which means you just show up one time and slap somebody around. And, hey, we'll put you in the Hall of Fame.
Where did Michael Dean Perry go to school?
He went to school at Clemson.
All roads lead to Dabo.
Yes, sir.
He went to school at Clemson along. He is the younger brother of William the Refrigerator Perry. Super Bowl Shuffle. Slap the belly like Kamala. R.I.P. Anything before we get up out of here and watch the wrestling, fellas?
Let's go Bucks! Hottest team in baseball.
It's sad. Scotty is sad. I know you're hurting inside. I know this is just a cry for help. And for all of our listeners, we do care. And Scotty D is hurting at this time. For 35 cents a day, we can send a care package to him for his ailing Pittsburgh Pirates.
Now, Scott, when we shoot this video, keep the eye boogers in your eyes, keep the slobber flowing, and all the crush on your nose. You got to look the part. You can throw some dirt on your face. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else, and they'll greatly appreciate it. Be a blessing, not a burden. Ooh, we got it right this time. This has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Love you. Bye.
Yes, sir.
Sing that Austin Peay song, somebody.
Yeah. The fly's open. Let's go pee.
Oh my God! Somebody lock R. Kelly up. This is nasty. Bye, y'all. More bloopers and more outtakes. Why is it always like the last few minutes of the game? They always wind up being like the best part of the game.
Well, we were just mentioning how we watched the Rockets and
okay. See, we got brain farts all across the board today, boy.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, I know at some point in time I'll have one too.
Yeah, you're due for one.
I'm due for one.
We're off to start here.
All right, we're gonna get it back together. All right. 3. Oh shit. So we going for the podcast hat trick. A botch, a stutter, and somebody got a cuss. Yep, that's a hat trick right there.
Oh man.
All right, Scottie D, I'm gonna kick it to you in 3, 2, 1. And we're moving right along to the north side, the AFC North, where we have the Ravens, the little bit bobble. What's going on?